You know what? I'm sorry. I believe I ate that. You ate my sandwich. I mean, it was a simple mistake. It could happen to anyone. Really? Did you confuse that with your own turkey sandwich with a moist maker? No. Do you perhaps remember seeing a note on top of it? There may have been a joke or limerick of some kind. That said, it was my sandwich. Now, calm down. Come look in my office. Some of it might still be in the trash. What? I mean, it was quite large. I had to throw most of it away. You threw my sandwich away. My sandwich. My sandwich. Hello, everyone. I'm Zahra Aga, and yes, that was a reenactment. Thank you. And yes, that was a reenactment from a clip from season 5, episode 9 of Friends, where Ross suffers a mental breakdown and takes it out on his boss for eating his sandwich. Today, I'm going to be talking about humor. So, humor is something we can all relate to. So what did you just do right now? Albeit, perhaps involuntarily. Well, if you have a sense of humor, you laughed, which is exactly what I'll be delving more into. Laughter, or mainly humor as a whole. Now, don't worry if you didn't laugh. Believe it or not, you have a type of humor. And I'll be talking more about some of these types of humor today. And I'll be helping you discover your type of humor at the end of my speech today. But first, what is humor? Well, for me, humor is a way to make light of the darkest of situations. It always has been. It has extraordinary effects, if effective. Effects that can even go on to increasing one's lifespan due to decreasing their stress hormones. Laughter releases endorphins, specifically called the release of the neurotransmitter serotonin and the neurotransmitter dopamine, which therefore decreases stress levels. But the funny thing is that these chemical reactions happen in the exact same place as antidepressant pills in medicine. So yes, laughter really is the best medicine. So overall, humor simply makes us feel good, which is why I think everybody loves having a funny friend. Think about it. Maybe you are that funny friend. But funny friend or not, you have a type of humor. And I'll be talking more about some of these types of humor today. Firstly, let's talk about dark humor. Yep, I'm getting right into it. I'm sure that got some of you out of your comfy seat position because, let's face it, you can resonate with this. Either you or someone in your social group distinctively possesses this type of humor. Now, dark humor is complicated because, well, it's dark, but it can also be the most effective type of humor when it comes to making people laugh. Take comedians, for example. I'm not sure if you realized, but some of the most famous and compelling comedians tend to mix in a little darkness and light. In fact, some came from quite horrific pasts, which can be further linked to dark comedy. Jim Carrey, who started from poor, humble beginnings, even having to drop out of school to help change his family's homeless lives, on top of his girlfriend committing suicide and him being wrongly accused. David Williams, who suffered depression and attempted suicide multiple times. And finally, a name you should all be familiar with, Kevin Hart, dealing with his dad as a drug addict and criminal, often in and out of jail stealing from his own family. Now, I'm not saying that people that use dark humor necessarily come from dark pasts, but it does point to something in their behavior psychologically. It's a way for our mind to stop thinking of negative thoughts, perhaps feelings such as anxiety and stress that creep up and become overwhelming in a conversation, and to douse it down, we use the angle of amusement. It's why we smile when delivering bad news at times. It's a coping mechanism for the body. Another reason we use dark humor is to keep in control of situations you otherwise wouldn't be in control of. Even situations as far as a person's death is where people utilize such humor. But yes, in my personal experience, I have had the opportunity to witness a rather creepy situation in which my friend was delivering me some bad news. In fact, they had injured themselves by literally falling flat-faced whilst exiting from a train, and they couldn't stop smiling whilst retelling the whole story. They sounded something like this. Oh yeah, that hurt so much, it's not even funny. Okay then. And I almost felt the need to point out, then what's with your face? But yes, it's true. Some people even laugh at themselves or others getting hurt. You can't seriously tell me you haven't laughed at your friend maybe tripping down the stairs. That's why people find fail army funny. But that's extreme dark humor. Okay, but these are my own social situations, not yours, and I don't want to bore you. So let's get you thinking. What is your brand of humor? There are several, but today I'm going to be sharing 3 that are particularly prevalent to the kaleidoscope of teenagers' lives locally. I'm planning to do something TEDxOFS has never done before. Thinkers, which hopefully provoke your mind and help you to understand your type of humor better. Plus, there's a fun little surprise at the end that I think you all might be interested in. So there's going to be 3 sections, since there's 3 different types of humor, of what I call thinkers, but I think it's better to show you guys. So here's the first thinker. Do you often do something like this? Yes, if you've watched Modern Family, you'll recognize that as Claire Dunphy, and you probably know it's a quintessential part of her character to smile whilst delivering bad news. So, are you also the type of person to smile whilst you're telling bad news or situations? Is dark humor your coping mechanism? All I want you to do is just think about it. And now, moving on to a different thinker related to dark humor. Now, the last thinker was related more to dark humor used as a coping mechanism, but this is just pure, straight-up dark humor. So, did you find this funny? All you Fail Army fans, just think about it. And now, before moving on to the next part of my speech, here's a dark humor joke to gauge if you really are a dark humor person. And now, moving on to a different type of humor. One that is unfortunately far too common in OFS. Self-deprecating. Is anybody over here right now like, now she's talking about me? Because I get it. It's unfortunately very popularly used nowadays with mental health rates plummeting. Now remember, dark humor used as a coping mechanism is strongly tied to self-deprecating humor, so I won't be talking about this type of humor too much. It's actually a rather specific subset of dark humor used as a self-defense mechanism. I can certainly think of situations where I may have used this humor. Can you? Making a joke about an insecurity or dislike about yourself that really only hurts you, just to make a situation less awkward? This includes laughing at yourself for something stupid you've done. Or perhaps being in the middle of a serious conversation where you or your friend is worried about the other and someone says something like, "No, it's okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay." Yeah, well, it's not okay. We all know that. But then, why do this? Why laugh at ourselves? Well, generally, like dark humor, this humor is also used in tough situations. But over here, it's mainly in conversations, as it's almost a form of communication to show empathy by putting yourself down, a way to protect ourselves from the actual dark magnitude of a conversation. It's because when we smile, the muscles around our mouth contract in a way that makes the brain think we are happy, therefore releasing anti-stress hormones that make us actually happy. So the next time you and your friend are outside an exam room going, I'm so scared, just go in like this instead. I am happy. I am calm. I hope that works for you. But this does lead us to our next thinker. Do you often do something like this? Or at least along these lines? Well, I'm dumb, so can't help you there. Or maybe me already knowing I'm going to fail this test, so there's no point trying. Or perhaps maybe even something along the lines of, yes, even I get shocked by my own stupidity. Just think about it. And now, just like with dark humor, here's a self-deprecating joke. So, my friend invited me to his housewarming party. Disclaimer, I have major social anxiety and I hate social situations. But then, he said those golden words, make yourself at home. So I chucked him out. Something a totally sane person would do, right? Idiot. So what type of humor do you recognize in yourself right now? Dark humor or self-deprecating? Neither? Both? Well, what about my last type of humor? Wit, wordplay. Now, I am sure this is something everyone in the audience has encountered, whether or not they use it. And although you might be a little confused as to what this type of humor means right now, perhaps you'll understand its synonym better. Puns. Yeah, puns, dad jokes, that category. Although we did think that this trend died years ago, it's coming back as dad jokes. And you or your friend may not be a dad, but still use these jokes. Just a friendly hint, guys. This might indicate something as to your mental age. No, seriously. It's more commonly used amongst parents, but surprisingly, since it uses both sides of the brain, it's also a sign of intelligence. Okay, but this does lead us to our last thinker. So, story time again. My friend drove his expensive car into a tree and found out his Mercedes Benz. Did you find that funny? Just be honest with yourself. And that was our very last thinker. So now it's time to think, what is your main type of humor? And now, time for the big reveal. That's right. I matched up your main type of humor with that of one of our esteemed teachers. If you got dark humor, you're Miss Lavin Peter. If you got self-deprecating humor, you're Mr. Riordan. And finally, if you got wit wordplay, you're Miss McConville. Read your results and what they mean psychologically. My personal result was dark humor. I hope this is something you can share with your friends afterwards, but overall, life is tinged with humor. We admire a witty pun. We laugh at ourselves because it takes the edge off, or we make light of a dark situation because sometimes laughing is better than the alternative. But the message for my talk was to show that different perspectives of humor in occurrences in our daily lives can lead to different viewpoints, which help us understand ourselves better. Humor is a means of expression, and it's all around us. So, no matter what type of humor you got, I hope I was able to convince you today that this statement holds truth. Everyone has a sense of humor. Thank you.